How do you feel about adding a sibling? We're at the point where biologically we're done having children. It was a difficult journey for us to have children. Jackson was a surprise and he was very easy. And then there was challenges getting pregnant and a miscarriage before Sawyer. And then there was more challenges. I had a tumor in my sinuses that needed removed. I had struggles getting pregnant, and then lost another baby before Isabel. So Isabel is our sweet little miracle baby that was kind of the final chapter of that part of our life. So we feel very confident that physically we're done having biological children. But there's still that feeling of the family not quite being complete yet. And I don't know how to explain that other than it just feels like God pressing on our hearts. That's the only way I can explain it.
No.
I think my heart is already a little guarded as to how people are going to react. So I'm filming this the day after we told friends and family, but I don't intend on sharing for a little while. It's really scary.
Mommy, cute.
Mm-hmm. Ready? You ready?
Oh, this is for the documentation.
Yeah. Excited?
Yep.
10:30 at night, and I'm back in my Bible again because that's the one place where I can find some peace right now. We have been going through this adoption process for a few weeks now, like actually in it. And we had a meeting tonight with a counselor, and we feel like we're finally getting some clarity on where we should be going. I don't know, it's just such a strange place. I've been emotionally the last couple of days. I want to go through this process as gracefully as I can with my 3 biological children. I want to be mindful of all of their feelings. I wanted to share 2 things actually. Ben and I started watching old videos of the boys way before Isabel. And of course they're adorable, and it's so sweet to see, and Jackson's voice is so different in the videos, and like Sawyer is such a chunky toddler, so it's so funny to see him. But it just kind of hit me that like if this adoption goes through and our child is out there, it's just gonna be so different. Like we're not gonna have those memories and those videos of the first few years or more of their life, and my heart just already breaks for what their life probably looks like. And I wish I could just speed things along and bring them home. Some nights I don't know what to read, and I just start flipping, and I came upon Romans. But anyway, I found notes in here from a previous sermon, and one of the things I wrote down says, pursue the opportunities where there is a need, and then meet that need. And I'm realizing in all of this, we cannot possibly fix the orphan crisis in this world. We can't fix the brokenness of this world. Only God can do that. But we can step up and see the opportunity where there is a need. And if we can meet that need for one child, I think that's exactly what God is calling us to do. And I think it's going to be pretty darn amazing. I guess I'll go first. We just applied. Sent in the application, paid the application fee. Now we wait. Thoughts, feelings? I know.
Ready to go.
Yeah, right. We were around family yesterday and today. Any thoughts on that? There's definitely pushback, would you say? Or hesitancy might be the better word.
Yeah.
So we are praying that that changes.
What are you doing?
We're doing our video journal for the adoption process. Do you want to talk about how you feel right now?
So far, good.
So far, good. You excited? Guess what Mom and Dad just did?
What?
We sent our application in officially.
What's that mean?
It means we officially started the process.
We're adopting?
Yep. I love you. You're going to be a good big brother again, huh? We were still unsure on Friday. I don't want to say unsure.
Looking for signs.
We had doubts. Yeah, we wanted more affirmation. You okay, Sawyer? We wanted more affirmation. So we just prayed that, well, we had figured out how we were going to pay for this first leg, but again, we wanted more affirmation. So we just,
coming.
yes, I will be right there.
Okay.
We prayed that God would, what was our prayer exactly? God, if this is what you want us to do, show us that you can provide, or you will provide.
But you said ask for specifics.
Yes.
So I didn't say something to you, but I have a wetsuit in the closet for the last decade, and I thought I'm going to ask a ridiculous price. And if I sell this before it gets dark in the middle of Lancaster County, we're hours away from an ocean, that would help cover most of the application. Well, it would cover the rest of the application. And I thought, well, that's our sign. If I could sell this 5mm wetsuit in Lancaster County.
Such a specific item.
Yeah. And like 5-6 hours later, it was sold.
It was sold, cash in hand.
So
Pretty cool. And then,
it was a specific thing I asked for, but
yeah, so that was his sign. And then mine was just like, I mean, I just asked for God to show us that he's going to provide for us, and like for me to let go of that control of figuring out where all of the dollars are going to come from. But God showed up big time, I'd say. And so just this weekend, we already have our first $1,000, which is huge because we were figuring out how we were going to do this on our own. And meanwhile, God's like, you're not doing this on your own. It's like, I'm here. So, yeah, it was a culmination of a bunch of different things. It's not like $1,000 was handed over, but that's what we ended up with. And we feel very blessed and affirmed, and are trying to trust that God's going to continue to affirm this and show us the way. Ben hates this, but I'm making him do it anyway.
I shaved my head today.
Yeah, that's right.
Start of a new journey.
I gotta tell you something.
And I guess what you're going to say.
What am I gonna say?
I got approved?
Yep.
All right.
I am getting over a cold after a long weekend. And I decided to get a jump start on Isabel's room. This is the room that's going to be for both kids, our adopted child and then Isabel when they come home. So I wanted to try to remodel it before the chaos it gets too much. So the whole room is paneling, and it's this like green panel. So we have paneling in the other room that we painted white, and I love it. So I plan to paint most of this paneling white, but I wanted one wall that could be flat, like smooth drywall, so that I could wallpaper it. I want to add like a pretty floral wallpaper. So Ben might kill me because he's 12 hours this week, but I jumped right in and pulled off most of the paneling. I got stuck down here. I need Ben's help a little bit, but I was pleasantly surprised there's sheetrock back there. So I'll just put some thin drywall on top, and I know how to finish it now thanks to my dad and working on the studio. So I'll finish that while myself, and then trim out the window, and we should be good as new. So the reason I got on was for a few different things that I wanted to document so I don't forget them. One was I showed Isabel the plan that I have for her room. And if I could figure out the picture, I'll put it right here. But it has 2 beds in it. And she goes, I get 2 beds. I said, yeah, for you and your sister. And she said, sister. She is so excited to share a room. And she loved everything, of course, in the plan. She is so girly, which is hilarious because I'm not at all. But I will embrace it for her, and that's why we're going to do the floral wallpaper. The paneling will be white, and then I got a lot of like boho type things to stick in here. But yeah, so that's the plan. And then the other thing was Jackson just being Jackson, and so Ben was away this weekend fishing. And he left Saturday morning, he came home Sunday night on a quick trip to New York. And when he got back, right before he got back, Jackson said, Mom, what time will Dad get home? Will I get to see him? I said, yep, he'll be home before you go to bed. And okay, will I get to see him in the morning or is he working? And I said, well, he's working tomorrow. And Jackson said, well, I'll get to see him at 2:30 when he comes home. And unfortunately, I had to tell Jack, well, Daddy's actually working 12 hours this week, so he won't get home until 6:30. And Jackson, you could tell, was kind of bummed. And he was like, oh, man, okay. And then he paused and he looked at me. He goes, Mom, maybe this is God's way of having Dad work more so he can have more money for the adoption. And I just thought, kid, you are wise beyond your years, boy. So what a cool perspective for a 9-year-old to already have and appreciate about his dad working overtime. So yeah, we're just gonna power through the week and get this done. So I have a pretty big story to tell. You want to help me? Okay. So, oh my goodness, you are such a mess, girl. Anyway, so Ben and I bought this house May of last year. So we've been here 1 year now. And as you are probably familiar with, this market is really crazy. And most people are buying houses with no inspections. So we had to say no inspection as well for any chance of our offer getting accepted. My brother, however, works in the industry in one way or another. So he's very familiar with homes and home inspections and what to look for. So we scheduled a showing for him and Ben to come and look at it. And long story short, he put his seal of approval on the house and he said, the only thing you might have to worry about is your septic system. So we bought the house knowing that there was a possibility we were going to have to deal with the septic system. So fast forward a few months and we were in, I think it was about August or September of 2021, right after we moved in, and we started noticing some like water in the leach field. And I was mowing one day and like full blown got stuck in the mud that we didn't realize was that muddy. And so we realized pretty quickly that we definitely had a problem with the septic system and we needed to figure this out. So we had called a few different places and there was no one that was going to get us in right away anyway. And it wasn't an emergency situation. We didn't have any backing up in the house or anything like that. It was just a wet leach field. So we're like, okay, we're going to table this for the winter time. No one's going to come out anyway, and we'll deal with it in the spring. We're going to start putting some money away and saving up. So spring comes and the kids are playing out back and then they come inside and they say, Dad, the neighbor wants to talk to you. And Ben went out. He just wanted to trim some trees that hang over his property. And of course, we don't care. He just needed the horses to be able to get by. But while they were out there, Ben brought it up and he said, oh, I thought you were going to talk about this. We don't know what we're going to do yet, but we obviously have to do something. And he said, well, I have a company that we used on our farm years ago and it repaired everything. And we're like, okay, tell us more. Like, we didn't know there was such thing as they're calling it septic rejuvenation. And we're just naive and clueless. We've never owned a home with septic. So this is all new to us. So I'm like, well, it wouldn't hurt to call them. So we call them and he is very kind and talking to me. He said, this is the price, which I'm very transparent about it. So it was $2,400, and it didn't shock me at all because a new system, of course, is more like $24,000 or more. So we were very much willing to go forward and at least give it a try. He mentioned a coupon that was out there circulating in a newspaper that we don't have access to, but it was for $200 off. So he said, well, if you can find it, there's a coupon in there for $200 off. And I'm like, oh, wow, thanks for letting me know. Like, I'll definitely look for it. Fast forward to today, they came, and we won't know for sure, I guess, if it worked for a couple of days, but they seemed really confident that that's what we needed. And they basically cleared out all of the pipes. They dug down to the tank. They replaced a few parts, replaced a couple pieces of pipe, and drained the tank also. Yeah, so it seems like it's working, and it worked. And they honored the coupon, even though I didn't have the coupon. And while this like doesn't sound like that big of a deal, it's seriously such a burden lifted. So we applied for the adoption in full faith to God that he was going to make a way and provide a path for us. We knew that if this septic rejuvenation did not work and we had to replace the whole system, that this adoption was going to be put on hold for at least a year, if not longer, because of the costs. I mean, we did not see how we could possibly have this gigantic payment for a septic system and then these gigantic payments for adoption. So we just knew that if this needed replaced, then the adoption was going to be on hold. So the fact that this all worked out and it was a very affordable rate in comparison, it's just such a blessing. And it's another roadblock that we saw as a roadblock that God moved instantly and said, no, I want you to pursue this and I'm going to make a way. Very cool.